This is Late Night Health. This is the radio show that cares about the most important part of your life, your health. During the next hour, the insane Daryl Wayne and I are going to take a look at some things that touch each and every one of us. During the second part of our show, we're going to talk about love and the lack of love, especially within the Black community and regarding women, Black women. We'll find out more about that in about 30 minutes from now. Right now, we're going to go to Beverly Hills, California. We're going to spend some time with Dr. Joel Gitterman, and he's the author of the Plasma Cell Report. He's been practicing medicine for more than 40 years. He's a professor at Cedars-Sinai and the David Geffen School of Medicine at UCLA. He's been the co-chairman of emergency med at Cedars, and he was formerly the vice chair of the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum in Washington, D.C., and we're going to talk about all kinds of things. Dr. Joel, welcome to Late Night Health.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Our pleasure. Let's talk about anti-aging, okay? We just did that a moment ago while we were getting ready to record. If we anti-age and everybody did it, wouldn't we be standing room only and not have any room to move?
Well, don't get me wrong. I devoted my life to try to extending life and making it as pleasurable as possible. So, we do a lot of things to sort of anti-age. We take anti-cholesterol drugs. We try to have a good lifestyle, not smoke, things like that. And that retards aging, but sooner or later we all die. What I talk about in my book is a phenomenon that I believe will eventually might happen, is that ability to reverse aging. That you could stop it. Sooner or later you'd stop it. But in my book, the main character actually reverses aging. It goes from being 63 to in her 20s. And
sign me up for that.
That's a different thing. And the reason I believe that this is possible is it's a biological process, and there's something that turns it on. There's an aging clock. We know that at some point the aging clock turns on, and different things happen. We lose the elasticity of our skin. All the things that happen with aging, and it's progressive. And there's actually a disease in children called progeria where this occurs prematurely. If you've ever seen pictures, a child who's 1 year old or 2 years old by the time they're 10, they look like they're about 90. And so if something can do that, my tagline in my book is whatever can go forward can go backward. So I do believe that if we could figure out what starts the aging clock and reverse it, then we'd have the problem you're talking about. We're not going to get that. The planet's not going to get that much more crowded if we add 10 or 15 years to a person's life by new drugs or lifestyle. But if nobody ever aged and people kept having babies, yes, we're already running out of land. We'd run out of water. We'd run out of all kinds of natural resources, food. I believe there'd be more crime. It's imponderable.
Do you think that the reversing aging, going from 63 to 20, and as I just said a moment ago, sign me up. But
yeah, we don't love it for ourselves. I take it too. We all love it for ourselves.
Right. Yeah. I mean, would you do that yourself?
I wouldn't mind. I'd like to do a lot of things again. I like to do a few things differently, but I wouldn't mind. But I talk about it at a societal level because any good book needs conflict and resolution. A little sex and humor doesn't help. But the real conflict and the resolution here is between a sort of deranged president, not anybody in particular, who kind of wants to offer this to the public because he thinks it's going to be his legacy, between the National Security Agency, who has a different idea. And of course, I have respect for the NSA. Um, I made a little enhancement to them because they have an operational wing in my book, which I don't believe they have. And there's a building in Houston that was a second headquarters. Their main headquarters is in Maryland. And hopefully the Chinese and the Russians are running around Houston looking for the other building.
um, you know, I was thinking about, I've said on the show, I'd love to live to be 118. There's a couple of caveats. One, I want to be able to know that I'm Mark Allen. Two, I want to be able to move on my own power. I want to know who I am, and I want to be able to move without a walker or a wheelchair. And uh, at the same time, it occurred to me, I want the people that I love to be there too. My kids, my grandkids. That's is that
Yeah, and your friends. I mean,
yeah.
if you've ever been to an old person's, I mean, a really old person's funeral, somebody in their 90s, it's sometimes really sad because all their friends are dead and there's only a few people there. But yeah, I think as far as extending aging, we obviously need to do it in a way that ensures the quality of life and not just the quantity of life. And that's what big pharma does and what scientists do. And uh, don't get me wrong, we want that.
Right,
And we have
yeah.
we've extended life quite a bit, and we've extended quality of life quite a bit.
Um, the as we get older, we do lose. Uh, some of us lose our hair. Some
Yeah.
of us lose our mind.
Thanks for saying that.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I've been blessed. But even with that, um, you still. I wake up and I still feel like I'm in my 20s.
Yeah, I think that's just a state of mind. I mean, I feel I feel like in my 30s at least, and yeah, that's just your attitude. I had my kids late, so I still have relatively young children around me. My youngest is 23, so I think that keeps you young too. And
Wait,
yeah,
at
but it's a state of
23 or
mind,
at
and
20
keep
at 20
working and all that.
at 23, Doc, doesn't your uh, son or daughter think of you as an old fogey,
I think so.
right? Our guest is Dr. Guiderman. Am I doing that right?
Guiderman, yes.
Guiderman. Joel Guiderman. He's the author of the Plasma Cell Report, and he's been practicing medicine for over 40 years. Um, do you think that it's possible for us to live to be 118, or we'll go biblical in 900 years? Uh,
Well, actually, I think the Bible prescribes 120 years. I think that's at least that's in our tradition. We say may live to 120. And of course, Abraham lived to 120. Well, he had his child when he was 120. Um, uh, I think we'll continue to extend life. We're even these weight loss drugs are expected to extend life to some incremental extent because of preventing other diseases. I'm not promoting them. I'm just bringing that up.
sure.
And of course, open heart surgery we do now, and all sorts of things. We have stroke care and infectious disease. At the turn of the 20th century, infectious disease was a huge cause of death, and maternal death during delivery was very high.
We're going to
And we don't.
take a time out right now, and
Okay.
we'll be back. I'm Mark Allen, along with the insane Daryl Wayne. And when we come back, we'll ask Daryl if he wants to live to be 118 or 120. We've already got Dr. Gitterman's response and mine as well. Be sure to join us at latenighthealth.com. That's latenighthealth.com. More coming up. Late Night Health is proud of our partnership with the EBC, the Evolutionary Business Council. Check them out at ebcouncil.com.
You're listening to Late Night Health with Mark Allen. The show continues in a moment.
Recently, I met Jacqueline from Bright here in Los Angeles. She gave me a hearing exam and then showed me how to hear again with the new Signia Pure Series hearing aids, and she can give you your life back too. I hear birds chirping, birds cooing, and even my wife. They easily connect to my smartphone. The Signia hearing aids are amazing, and with the charge and go, I don't have to fiddle with batteries and hear all day long. Not hearing is frustrating for you and your family. I know you don't have a problem, but trust me, call Bright Here now for a free hearing exam, a $125 value, yours free, just for making an appointment now. There are offices throughout the Los Angeles area. Call Bright Here now at 323-424-7100. That's 323-424-7100 for a free hearing exam. There's no obligation. Call now, 323-424-7100, or visit them on the web at brighthere.com.
If you're listening to Late Night Health right now, you're part of the growing target of baby boomers we're serving. Hi, I'm Daryl Wayne, producer of Late Night Health, inviting you to join the Late Night Health family. If you have any business targeting the growing boomer market, Late Night Health is the ideal advertising vehicle for you. From vitamins to insurance, alternative health to Western-style medicine, Late Night Health caters to the growing population of those over 40 years old. This vibrant demographic has expendable income to fight aging, purchase travel, take care of aging parents, or just have fun. Find out about the advertising opportunities with Late Night Health. Call us at 805-391-0308. That's 805-391-0308, or email us at info@latenighthealth.com. That's info@latenighthealth.com. Join Late Night Health as we empower people to take charge of their own health care. Call now at 805-391-0308. That's 805-391-0308.
Sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Words are a critical aspect of success. How you get your point across is a crucial part of what makes anything sell. So do it right and hire a writer. Whether it's articles, blog posts, technical writings, website content, product descriptions, or ghostwriting anything from a novel to a nonfiction book about your navel, contact Servet Hassan. If you want it to sell, write it right. Email Servet at servet@servethassan.com.
It's time to tackle a tough topic, one that affects us all. We're talking about sexism in the workplace. The award-winning Identifying the Elephant in the Room series is back and ready to tackle some complicated communications issues again. This spring, we're focusing on critical communication strategies in the face of sexism. Join us as we hear from professionals in the natural products industry who have valuable career lessons to share and real-world experience to discuss from all sides of the elephant. It's time to have an honest and open conversation about the impact of sexism in the workplace and how we can make it better for everyone. Identifying the Elephant in the Room series starts March 16th. Register today at inicibox.vfairs.com. That's INICIBOX.VFAIRS.com, and join the conversation to be part of the solution. Late Night Health continues. I'm Mark Allen, along with the insane Daryl Wayne. Our guest is Joel Gitterman, and I ended the last segment. Would you want to live to be 118 or 120? Do you have any caveats, Daryl?
Well, I mean, first of all, yeah, I would want to be relatively disease-free. I wouldn't want to be suffering for something additional 20 or 30 years unless it was worth it.
Got it. That makes sense. And what about having people around you that you still love?
Well, I mean, if I'm going to make it to 120 and they haven't asked for the same thing, then we're in trouble. You'd like to take some people along with you.
Our guest, thank you for that. Our guest is the author of the Plasma Cell Report, also 150 medical papers and chapters and things like that. Is does the United States have a good medical system, in your opinion, doctor?
Does the United States have a good medical system?
Yes.
Um, well, I think it's bifurcated. I think we have the best care for the people who can afford it. Um, and we've, you know, nobody really gets turned away from getting medical care, but there's a lot of obstacles to getting it, and it's a hard question. I actually, I have we have a lot of refugees from Canada who come here to work because as much as they want their national health care system, it's not so great. And I have a good friend whose grandfather started the National Health Service in Great Britain. And as we know, that's having a lot of problems and a lot of financial problems. People in London, in England wait for over a year to get if they need a hip replacement, whereas here it's almost on demand if you're insured properly and you need it. And so I think and I have a friend in Switzerland too, and again, uh, they have a two-tiered system there too.
Right.
If you pay up, you get some better care. You get a private room. There's medicines that you can't get there. A friend of mine who lives in Norway recently told me that she got COVID, and I told her, "Well, just you'll be fine. Go on Paxlovid," and she's only in her 50s, and she said we don't have that here.
Wow. I I don't. I think I've said this. I just had surgery, and the surgeons put me on Eliquis, and I just got a renewal for Eliquis at $600 a month, which is absurd to me. And I know that some drugs can be more. There is a new generic, which is in the 20s, and I've opted for that.
Well, there's a generic blood thinner, but Eliquis has certain benefits because it's selective, and there is no receptors for it in the brain, so you're less likely to have a brain bleed as a result of taking the Eliquis than you are of Coumadin, for example, which is notoriously hard to regulate. So, as far as the cost of drugs, they cost so much to develop. So many of the trials fail, and and they try to recoup it. And eventually, the patents last 17 years, but a lot of that runs by the time it's
Right.
already marketed. So I don't have that big a problem with it. It's unfortunate, but they're better drugs. And
There and the uh, if you have money, you're okay.
yep, that's true. And um, you know, I don't have an answer. I really try, in my book, I try to be apolitical, and I'm trying to be apolitical here too. I don't think there's any good answer. I mean, Abraham Lincoln said you can't make everybody rich by making everybody poor. And so, you know, and you can't make everybody rich. And
No, no, and at the same time, overall health, we're the most expensive in the world, but the quality of care is in the 30s, and it should equate. If we're the most expensive, I want I want Beverly Hills uh, care.
I had back surgery a few years ago, and um, I have a helper who helps in my house. I mean, a male helper, because I have my kids and everything as my shopping. And he drove me to the hospital and sat with me. And he just, when everybody left my room, because they came in to draw some blood and some other things, and he said, and I was in a private room, and he said, "Wow." He goes, "In my country," he's from El Salvador. He said, "In my country, the president wouldn't just get this kind of care." And I
And
don't think,
it's I was just at UCLA at Ronald Reagan, And I had a private room. I had a private room in both ICU and once I got out of ICU. Um, and I was there suffering for 7 long days because doctors don't talk about, they talk about, hey, you're going to get out of surgery, you'll be fine. They don't talk about recovery. They forgot to say that recovery can be a year.
I agree with that too. I mean, I hated being on a hospital bed. You're locked in, you can't get up. There's alarms, and you're tied down with a bunch of stuff, and it's not a lot of fun. And when you're not being visited by a friend or a family or somebody who's coming into a procedure, you're pretty much just lying by yourself. Can't do anything.
I have to
So
say,
it's not fun to be in the hospital.
no,
So
it
let's
is
stay
not.
healthy.
But I will say that the nursing staff at UCLA and the support, the nurses' assistants, if you will, were above and beyond. They did things that no human should have to do, period. From cleaning and walking you around and exercising, showers, all of that stuff. They were just absolutely phenomenal, and I think that that's
And I
an
think that's
important
true
thing.
from everything I hear. Cedars-Sinai is similar.
Yeah,
And we're very competitive with each other. But again, this draws a big contrast because my friend in Switzerland, his mother was in the hospital, and she was in a ward with a lot of people, and that's really not good.
no,
And you know, sh- but you're able, if somebody was able to do it, they could buy up to a private room. I had no idea what the cost differential was, but the so-called universal health care is not distributed. It's kind of like here with you, our version of universal health care, I guess, is the Affordable Care Act, otherwise known as Obamacare. And you get the care, but it's not in the same league.
right. We are out of time, and I'd love to have you come back. I'd love to talk to you about your thoughts about the Holocaust, and the fact that you have family members who survived Auschwitz. Fascinating to me.
Yeah, my
Um,
mother was actually first in a ghetto, and then she was in Auschwitz. Then she was sent to a work camp. She went to the munitions factory, which probably saved her life because she got fed there. And then she was transferred to Bergen-Belsen, and she was liberated at Bergen-Belsen.
wow.
So it probably was about 2 weeks away from death because typhus was sweeping the camp. But we'll talk about that next time.
We will
As
do.
far
We will
as
talk
far as the
about
book
that.
goes, I just want the potential readers to know that the premise is about a woman who grows younger, but there's really there's a lot to it. It's really the conflict between the president and the NSA, and it's a pretty good read.
If you do say so yourself.
Well, I looked at my ratings, and I just have people who have read it
And
who tell me.
the book is available on Amazon?
Amazon, Barnes and Noble, all the online booksellers. Yes.
Got it. All right. And the name of the book is The Plasma Cell Report by Dr. Joel Gitterman. And he will come back. We will have him back. Doctor, hold on one second. I'm Mark Allen along with the insane Daryl Wayne. We'll be back in just a couple.